Don't start your Royal Caribbean cruise on the naughty list, or worse, with legal trouble because you brought a banned item.
Welcome back to Away We Go Cruising. I'm Gary. That's Kara. Today, we are talking about all things that are banned on Royal Caribbean ships. And just so you know, when you go on your cruise vacation, all of your luggage that is either checked or what you're carrying on goes through an x-ray machine. And they're trained to search for all of these items.
If port security finds something in your bag that is on the banned list, not only does your bag not make it to the ship, but you get the embarrassment of taking your bag to have it opened by security on a folding table right there in port security in front of everyone. And that is called the naughty list.
And in fact, if what you have in your bag is illegal, and there's a couple of items we'll talk about, they're going to get port authorities involved, and you're not getting on your cruise ship. If it's just on the banned item list, they're going to take it, they're going to put it in a bag, they're going to put your name on it, and you're going to get that item back at the end of your cruise, but you have to wait in a big long line to do it. So to make your life easier and not have to worry about that once your cruise vacation's over, just stay away from these items.
So these are the top 6 categories that will get you in big trouble. So the first category is anything that creates a fire hazard. As retired Navy guy here will tell you, fire at sea is a massive problem, so they will not let it happen.
Pretty much the worst problem.
Yes, it is a danger for lives. Literally, people could be injured or worse for fire at sea. So anything with a fire hazard is going to be disallowed from your luggage and on the cruise ship in general. And don't think you can sneak it in either, because your room steward will see it and you will lose it at any point in the cruise. So fire hazards include any kind of clothes iron or clothes steamer, because those can draw electricity and create heat and cause a huge fire problem. Heating pads and electric blankets. Don't worry, they will provide you any additional blankets if you need. Don't bring anything that's heated that plugs in. Candles or incense, any type of those, even if it's just for decoration, you cannot bring those. Even if it's a gift for someone, you cannot bring those. Any kind of candle or incense is disallowed and will be confiscated. And any kind of hot plate or even an electric water kettle, do not bring those. Trust me, they have plenty of food on the ship. You don't need to bring any kind of plug-in thing to cook your own food. They have plenty of food on the ship for you. And if you want a water kettle to make tea, you can ask your room steward, and usually they can help you with a solution for that.
Pretty much anything that turns electricity into heat is going to be banned.
Right.
And anything that's an actual fire is going to be banned. If you follow those 2 rules, you're going to be covered. All right, next up, category 2 are your electrical outlet type things. So this was a newer rule that came in last year, and I think most cruise lines adopted this, but essentially anything that's a multi-plug adapter. So think anything you plug into the wall with 1 plug and it comes out with 2, 3, 6, 10, whatever it is, those are no longer allowed. So if you have anything that extends the amount of outlets you have, not allowed. Anything with a surge protector in it is also not allowed. So if you have a 1 outlet item that you plug in, has a surge component to it, that's also not allowed. So what I'm talking about here is, and again, these are electrical plugs. So you plug in 1 outlet and you end up with multiple additional outlets you can plug more things in. It's perfectly fine to have a multi-USB plug. So you plug in a USB adapter and there are multiple USBs on the other end. So if you need to charge your laptop or your phone, any of the other items you have, having a multi-USB is no issues whatsoever. Having a voltage converter is no issues whatsoever. The cabins will typically have US or European power outlets. You can have a voltage adapter. Those are fine. But anything that's going to add additional outlets that aren't USB are going to be banned.
The next category that will be banned, and this one could absolutely get you into legal trouble, not just ruin your vacation, but the authorities would get involved, are substances such as marijuana or any kind of other drug. So even though in some states in the United States, there are different rules for this, still federally in the United States, marijuana, cannabis products, including CBD products, are not allowed on cruise ships. Even if your state gives you some kind of card that says you can, federally not allowed. This will get you in huge trouble. Cruise lines abide by federal US law, and federal US law says those things are not allowed. Port Authority will get involved. You will have a problem way before you get on your ship and not get on your ship. So avoid those to be safe.
And if you happen to get it on the ship, we're not encouraging that in any way, but if you happen to get it on the ship and you get caught on the ship, they will put you off at the next port if they feel it was egregious enough. So you may end up being trapped in a foreign country because you didn't abide by these rules. So this is a serious rule. You take this one seriously. Just leave it at home and get it after your cruise vacation.
The other thing in this category is hard liquor. While Royal Caribbean does allow 1 bottle of wine or champagne per adult per stateroom, that's it, wine or champagne. You cannot take on, even if it's the same size, a bottle of hard liquor or something like bourbon, whiskey, gin, vodka. You cannot take that. They will confiscate it and you do not get it back. And same thing with beer. You cannot take on a big 12-pack or any kind of beer either. It must be just the 750 milliliter bottles of wine or champagne, 1 bottle per stateroom per adult. No hard liquor.
All right, next up, category 4 are weapons. Anything that looks like a weapon, anything that can be used as a weapon. So whether it's an actual weapon, a gun, a knife, a sword, not allowed. Toy weapons that look like real weapons, if it's a plastic toy, but it has some sort of realism involved in there, they're not going to allow that on board. They don't allow pepper spray. They don't allow bear spray. Anything that could be, even though, maybe you're going on an Alaska cruise and you think you want bear spray for your hike, you can't bring it on your cruise ship. Get it while you're on shore, use it there, leave it behind. All those things are not allowed on your cruise. Don't bring any weapons.
All right, our 5th category that will get you in trouble or disrupt your cruise are miscellaneous weird things. Trust me, they're on the website, and if they're listed, somebody has tried to do it at some point. So these include handcuffs, hoverboards, baby monitors. So this is another one too. I've seen a lot of the cruise groups, they talk about baby monitors. The baby monitors are on frequencies that could interrupt communications for the ship. That is why they're not allowed.
Can we talk about baby monitor for a second? Don't bring a baby monitor on the ship because that implies that you're leaving a baby in the room by itself. Please don't do that. I see that all the time. People ask a question, can I leave my baby in the room or my toddler in the room while they're sleeping? And then I'll have a baby monitor and I can watch them walk. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
The cruise is a wonderful place that some older kids can have a little bit of autonomy and there's some kids clubs and they get a little bit of time to run around. If you have a child of that age that would need a baby monitor, no, you should not leave them in the room for any reason.
No.
So it is illegal based on frequencies. It'll actually interfere with either the ship's radio system, potentially their radars. We don't want that, safety navigation. But more importantly, I think as a human person, don't leave your baby in the room.
Unattended.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Please.
Also banned are ham radios for the same reason that baby monitors are banned, because it can interrupt the frequencies that the ship uses for safe navigation. But you can bring walkie-talkies if you really want to. They just have to follow the recommendations. You can look that up on the website, but no ham radios.
But don't bring the walkie-talkies either. They don't work very well on the ship. The ship's got a lot of metal. They don't carry very well. They're annoying to everybody around you. So if you bring those, I'm really sorry. They're annoying. Don't do it. But you can bring them, just don't.
And other weird things you cannot bring, and again, probably because somebody tried to do this, you cannot bring a motorcycle, you cannot bring an ATV, you cannot bring a moped, you cannot bring any kind, like an e-bike, you cannot bring those things. If you want to do those when you're in port, you need to rent those or do an excursion that involves those things. You cannot bring your own motorcycle to take out into a port town. Just FYI.
You can't bring a bike. And I think you can bring sporting equipment, but it all has to be in your room. So if you're going to bring a bike on board, I mean, that's aggressive.
A non-e-bike.
A non-e-bike. I've never seen that, but I guess you could bring a bike or maybe a folding bike. We have folding bikes. As long as you put it in your room and it stays in there, it's probably okay. I'm sure you can't ride it around the ship. You could ride it off the ship. But like if you're bringing golf clubs, I'm sure those are fine, but they're going to stay in your room. They're not going to give you a place to store them. So,
but nothing that runs on electric power or gas power. You cannot take any vehicle with you that does that.
All right, category 6. Next up, and this is a new one, and one near and dear to my heart, as I am a former retired cybersecurity professional. You can't bring cybersecurity or any deliberate cyber criminal electronic equipment on board. So think things like Wi-Fi routers, and I know like we carry a travel router, and in previous times we've actually carried that on the ship, so they're no longer allowed. You can't bring on Wi-Fi pineapples, if you know what those are. You can't bring on rubber ducks. No, not those rubber ducks. The USB rubber ducks, which are a hacking tool, you can't bring those on. So anything that's going to qualify Flipper zeros.
Flipper. Yeah.
Flippers, you know, you can clone room keys, you can pull frequencies out of things. So any of those things that you have that are sort of considered legal or pseudo-legal hacking equipment, can't bring on board anymore.
Mm-mm.
There's probably a good chance that the port doesn't know what these things are yet, but if you start using them, you're going to get caught and they're going to take them from you. Same thing for satellite dishes. So, you know, I know last year when the mini Starlink came out, people started bringing those on cruise ships, and very quickly all the cruise lines shut that down, so you can no longer bring your own Starlink on board. So all those things kind of wrapped up in a cybersecurity realm are now no longer allowed on ships.
And they will be confiscated.
They will.
So the bottom line here is if it can start a fire, blow a fuse, or get you arrested, just leave it at home.
And this list changes all the time, so we'll leave a link in the description for Royal's website, where if you really want to get the definitive list of what they say, it changes. Be sure to check on it. If you got an item you're not sure about, check the website before and you'll know for sure.
Have you ever had something confiscated going to a cruise? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear your story.
Thanks for watching.
Happy cruising!